It's just a corrugated steel box, 20 or 40 feet long, two big doors, nothing fancy. Yet this humble container is the backbone of the modern global economy. Before its invention, shipping was slow, expensive, and chaotic. Dock workers spent weeks loading and unloading individual crates. The shipping container changed everything by introducing intermodalism. The same box could move from truck to train to ship, never unpacked. Suddenly, moving goods became fast and cheap. A t-shirt from Vietnam or a TV from South Korea could travel thousands of miles for pennies. This efficiency rewired the world's economy, letting companies manufacture wherever it was cheapest and deliver anywhere reliably. Global trade exploded and the world shrank. Nearly everything in your home, coffee, clothes, electronics, spent part of its journey in a shipping container. The system worked so well, most of us never noticed it. We built our lives on the assumption that containers would always be available and shipping would always be cheap. That assumption held until a global pandemic brought it all to a halt. When COVID-19 hit, it didn't just make people sick, it broke the machinery of global trade. China's lockdowns shuttered factories and ports, leaving ships with nothing to pick up. Empty containers piled up in Asia, stranded far from where they were needed. Meanwhile, demand in the West soared as people stuck at home bought more goods than ever. The result, a massive mismatch. Importers in Europe and North America desperately needed empty containers, but they were stuck overseas. The smooth flow of trade became a global game of musical chairs, too few containers in the right places. Ports in the West faced their own problems. Social distancing slowed dock workers, truckers, and warehouse staff. Containers piled up at ports, creating gridlock. With nowhere to go, empty containers couldn't return to Asia, making the shortage worse. The system built for efficiency was now causing chaos. Bottlenecks multiplied, and the world's supply chain began to unravel. The crisis was just beginning. The container shortage spiraled into a global shipping crisis. Shipping a container from Shanghai to Los Angeles jumped from $2,000 to $20,000. Delays mounted. Ships waited days or weeks to unload, forming floating traffic jams off major ports. Each delay rippled backward. Factories waited for parts. Stores waited for products. China's strict lockdowns and sudden port closures sent shockwaves through the system. The just-in-time model, once the gold standard, collapsed under the strain. Automakers halted production for want of a single chip. Retailers faced empty shelves. The crisis exposed the fragility of a system built for efficiency, not resilience. Businesses learned the hard way: when shipping fails, everything else grinds to a halt. The world's supply chain was overdue for a reckoning. For consumers, the crisis meant empty shelves and higher prices. Products existed, stuck in containers at sea or at jammed ports, but couldn't reach stores. Out-of-stock signs became the norm, and everyday goods turned into rare finds. Shipping costs soared, and companies passed those costs to customers. Inflation hit hard: sneakers, electronics, even food became more expensive. Big brands like Nike and Peloton lost billions to delays and costs, despite their resources. Small businesses suffered most, unable to absorb or pass on the new expenses. Industries dependent on global supply chains like automotive were paralyzed by shortages of key parts. Used car prices soared as new vehicles couldn't be built. The crisis revealed how a single missing part could cripple entire industries. The world saw just how interconnected and vulnerable our supply chains really are. Faced with chaos, companies scrambled for solutions. Many diversified manufacturing, moving production to Vietnam, Mexico, or even back home. The goal: shorter, more controllable supply chains. Technology became crucial. AI and real-time tracking helped companies predict and avoid delays. Retail giants like Walmart and Costco chartered their own ships to bypass bottlenecks. Investment poured into expanding ports, building inland logistics hubs, and improving rail and trucking. The crisis forced a shift from pure efficiency to resilience and flexibility. Digital tools replaced guesswork with data-driven decisions. The shipping industry realized it needed to modernize, fast. The scramble for solutions set the stage for a new era in global logistics. The world is now rebuilding supply chains for resilience, not just efficiency. Companies are holding more inventory and using multiple suppliers to avoid future shocks. The just-in-time model is giving way to just-in-case thinking. Shipping lines and ports are investing in automation and cleaner fuels. Technology as central digital twins let companies simulate disruptions and plan ahead. Smart containers with GPS and sensors provide real-time cargo data, ending the information blackouts of the past. The crisis was a wake-up call, exposing hidden weaknesses in global trade. Now the focus is on building systems that can withstand the next big shock. The humble steel box isn't going anywhere, but the network that moves it is being transformed. The goal, a supply chain that's stronger, smarter, and more adaptable. The world is learning to value resilience as much as speed. The container crisis was a stark reminder of our global interdependence. The shipping container, once invisible, became a symbol of how our world really works. The crisis made supply chains a top priority for governments and businesses alike. It forced us to rethink the true cost of convenience and the risks of relentless efficiency. Consumers gained a new appreciation for where their goods come from and the complexity behind every purchase. The humble steel box remains the unsung hero of the global economy. Its importance is now clear. It's the linchpin of modern life. As we move forward, the lessons of the crisis will shape a more resilient world. Our future depends on the strength of the connections forged, one container at a time.